Well, welcome back once again. We're back. We're breaking down the walls. I'm Floyd Potts. As I was saying, I'm here with Elena, the fitness trainer. You see those arms she's got, and I'm also here with Tonya. She's a therapist. And now we've been talking about the topic this evening has been, yes, of course, I feel entitled. We've been doing it primarily from the standpoint of black women feeling they're entitled to a few things. Relationships, what else? Money.
Did you say a few things? He said a few things.
Relationships, the ability to date multiple guys. Let's go back to that because I know you had some more things you wanted to say, Tonya. And I want you to be able to get it all out so the listening audience can be able to understand what goes on in the psyche of women when that's concerned as entitlements, and then also what goes on in the mindset of men. So go ahead, elaborate on what the last bit you was trying to get out. I guess I was suppressing it by being over here.
I don't think you were necessarily suppressing it. I think what you were doing was, no, you cannot. I think what you were really doing was kind of falling back on this whole assumption,
okay.
Which I think a lot of times men have a tendency to do that. You made a statement off camera that one thing that when we were talking about women having the option or being entitled to date more than one person, 5, 6, 10, 20, 12, whatever, that if a woman is looked at as a whole from your standpoint, she must be doing something intimate to signify.
With at least one of those guys.
And we disagreed with that because that's not true. But again, that's your assumption. As a man, it goes back to the whole thing of you feel that you're entitled, number one, to make any statement that you want to make and it be valid.
But let me ask
simply
you this.
because you said it.
It's primarily because that's the way they think when they do.
They. Who are they?
Men.
Okay, now what entitles a woman to date multiple?
What entitles a man to date multiple women?
Nothing entitles either to do it. But you're sitting here saying that a woman's entitled.
Yes, we.
First of all, you have to figure out
I'm at a loss.
You even want to. I mean, when you get to be a certain age, you're not some little teenager.
Absolutely.
Okay. He's cute, and we're dating.
Right.
That's the guy I'm going to date the rest of my life,
right.
or I'm going to marry him.
Right.
No, when you get to a point where you're older, you're able to make better choices because you have the experience. So why wouldn't you have an opportunity to experiment and explore different men?
And it's you have the opportunity, and it's your choice.
Yes, you're entitled to.
It's a choice. Period.
So how many men are you dating right now?
Why is that relevant?
If you don't mind me asking that, we're on air.
To the audience.
Because,
why is that relevant? But that goes back to thank you for saying that, because what that does for me is it puts me in a position to think that, one, you're feeling a sense of insecurity because you want to know what's my competition.
No, the reason why
Number
I asked
one,
that
you
question,
do want to know what my competition is. Then you want to know I'm entitled. First of all, no, but you said I want to finish. I want to finish.
No. For the listening audience, the reason why I asked that question, she did reference
clarify.
Off air. I asked that question because I asked her off the camera, does she let these men know that she's dating more? So if you do, it shouldn't be any issue saying it on the camera.
No. The issue isn't. No. The issue is the two have nothing to do with each other. First of all,
especially if it's an entitlement.
First of all, absolutely not.
We're trying to break walls down here.
Oh, we're breaking them down right now. First of all, if I'm dating 5 or 6 different guys, yes, I'm going to let them know that you're not the only person I'm seeing. I'm weighing my options as a single woman. I have that entitlement. As a single woman, I have that choice. Now, the other problem is having all of these other guys come into the house showing that. But that goes back to you guys. Yeah, you think that because I'm seeing you, Tonya, I'm entitled to drop by your house. I'm entitled to call you, even though I've not talked to you all day. I'm entitled to pick up the phone and say, baby, what you doing? I'm on my way over. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But because men have been, and not just African American men,
you have to say some men, because you can't say men, because that sounds like you're saying all men.
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
So you're saying all men.
But if you're
not all men
of the necklace in a man's dating necklace, he only wants
men wear necklaces. I mean, I know this is Atlanta.
This is they do. Dating necklace. He's got all these little beads that he uses to create his necklace. But if you're just a bead on his necklace, then he's going to want you in the place that you belong in. And if that means that you're the one that he wants to take to Ruth Chris every Friday night because that's his thing, you are on his necklace to fit in that role. Women see it completely different.
Okay.
We see it from the perspective, how am I going to weigh my options here in terms of what this man is bringing to our lives so that we can develop together.
Absolutely.
Men look at it as this is the piece, and she fits in that part.
Pigeonholed.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to what you said earlier, though, Atlanta. You were saying that when you get older, and I'm going to use the word mature. Okay,
Yes.
Men, at some point when we're ready to settle down, we're not looking those of us that wear necklaces. I don't know if men wear necklaces, but we're not. We're at that point. At that point, right? When we get a certain age, we're looking for one woman, and I think men at that point. I think men and women at a certain age are looking for pretty much the same thing. They want to be with someone that respects them, I think, and I'm speaking only as a man.
And we're entitled to have that.
They're right.
Yes.
We're entitled to have that both ways. They're looking for someone that respects them, someone is going in the same direction that they're going in.
Right.
Okay, someone that will love them as well,
Right.
unconditionally, and someone that they can love
Absolutely.
unconditionally as well. I think that's what they're looking for after we reach a certain age. We're not looking to play the games. I think, and I can only speak for Floyd, that the games, the dating 15 and 16 women, to me is when they're much, much younger. Because when we're younger,
That's not true.
much, much younger. And I'm speaking not as a woman. I'm speaking as a man.
How long has it been since you've dated?
Well, I've been dating one lovely lady for the last 3 years.
So then,
You have some level of experience in terms of.
And we are in a committed relationship.
right, because I disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
I disagree with that statement. I think the way we are now in the whole process of just relationships and dating, for one, we don't date the way we used to. We don't enter relationships the way we used to.
You get online and check a picture.
You get online, you check a picture, whatever the case may be. But I think the thing that goes back to what you just said, maturity doesn't necessarily bring commitment. Maturity does not necessarily bring in where a man starts to rein in and focus
He's just
in on.
tired now. He
He's
doesn't
just
have the
tired.
energy.
But I think at the same time, there's still a lot of men out there who do still
He's
date
just tired.
multiple women, even in their 50s, even in their 60s. I know plenty of men in their 50s. You would think that, okay,
You're a piece of their necklace.
dude, really? You still at the club?
But as a man who's going on 50, I would say that's an old fool. Because
I would agree 100%.
I would say because at some point you do have to settle down.
Who says that you do,
Doesn't mean
though?
you have to get
But who
married,
says that
though.
you have to?
But at some point you have to get out of the dealing with multiple partners.
But who says you have
it's
to?
Ridiculous. Common sense says it at
Why?
some point.
I get
Common
that's
sense.
my question.
I mean,
why though?
Because number one, most men I think that are in their 50s probably have some children. And at some point you have to set the right example, especially if you have young males. You must set the right example that it's not okay to have 5 and 6 women that you're dealing with.
We try to put a label on it. We try to identify it. And sometimes you can't identify it. Entitlement comes through how we act with other people,
Okay.
what we expect from other people, what we say to other people, your level of servitude,
humility,
communication, all of that.
Well, I want to say this. For those that tune in each and every week to Breaking Down the Walls, I want you to go ahead and hit us up on Breaking Down the Walls 08 at yahoo.com if you have any comments, any suggestions, if you even have a topic that you would like for us to go ahead and speak about.
We all have the capacity as well as the ability to make the choices that we want to make. I think when we happen to get into putting labels on, especially when we're talking about entitlements, I think we have to understand, first of all, where are we at certain points in our lives that make us feel like we're entitled to certain things from other people. My overall philosophy is that nobody owes anybody anything.
I agree.
So when you go into a situation, whether you're dating or it's a serious or a committed relationship, go into it with the understanding that you're not necessarily entitled to anything other than the fact that you are responsible for your own happiness, point blank.
And I think the ultimate thing is at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we respect one another, because without respect and trust, it is really hard to have a successful relationship. And with that being the case, this is Floyd Potts, and this is Breaking Down the Walls.